Hi everyone, welcome to Antioch Atelier. Thank you for joining me. My name is Jody and I'm a professional artist and teacher. I have been teaching what I love for over 20 years and I would like to share it with you. Please enjoy this video on brush techniques and please like and subscribe. Thank you. Brushes for painting like the old masters. This is a little video to help you understand the types of brushes that I use in my old masters painting. The first one I'm showing is the Filbert. It happens to be my favorite brush. It's named after Filbert nuts, which is kind of funny until you actually see the marks that it can make. You can see that the top of the brush that I'm drawing here has a rounded edge, which is where they get the idea of a filbert. I'm showing it, drawing it from the front and from the side. Filberts are rounded to the top and long, but if you look at them at the side, they're flat. This shape gives them a lot of flexibility. You can do a lot of different things with it. Here I'm going to show you the different brushes that are considered filberts, different brands. This is a silver brush. The next one, Imposter, I can't remember the brand, might be Blick. And the one after this, I have no idea. I have so many brushes. This is an inexpensive something or another. But you can see they're all shaped about the same. The last one is a company called Rosemary, and she calls it a Shiraz. And there it is. It happens to be, it looks to me like a size 6. Very nice to work with. Okay? So now I will mark out the parts of the brush. The bottom, of course, is the handle. But the middle, which you may not know, is called the ferrule. And then the top, of course, are the bristles. The top, of course, are the bristles. Okay. Now, the ferrule holds the bristles in place, and on filberts and shorts and flats, the ferrule is pressed in to help create that flat shape. The next one I'm going to show you is a bright. Some people call it the short flat. I think Rosemary brushes, they call it short flats. And it has a similarity to the filbert in that it is flat on one side and wide on the other, but the top of it is cut short. It's cut flat across, straight across. It is almost like a square in shape. That's why Rosemary calls it short flats as compared to long flats, which I don't talk about in this video. I don't use them for the old masters, so I didn't add it to this video. They're wonderful brushes, of course. Here, once again, the bristles, the ferrule, and the handle. This is once again, the bright. And here are some different examples. That one might be an Isabe. I honestly don't remember. The next one coming up is a Rosemary Shiraz. The Shiraz is the name of the kind of bristle. They're very nice brushes to work with. Here is an old brush I have. It is a Winsor Newton Galleria, probably size 2, and it looks like it's been around a while, but I have taken pretty good care of it. This next brush is a watercolor wash brush. That's probably about a 3/4 to maybe a full inch. This brush is great for blending. Okay, this next brush is called a round, and unlike the two we've done previously, the filbert and the bright, it has not been flattened. The ferrule has not been flattened. All of the bristles are secured in the ferrule, so they keep a round shape that's from all sides. And here are a couple of examples. Just, I think that's at Princeton, and I have something, I can't remember where I got this next one. I think just like an Amazon. It says Marie is on it. I love high quality, expensive brushes, but sometimes cheap is just fine, and that would be one of them. Here's another example of a cheap brush that sometimes I will use. I think it's a Mimic or something, but it's a low quality brush that is fine in certain circumstances. I'm doing this because I want you to be able to see the light bristles on the brush clearly. There we go. Nice fine point. Okay, the final brush I'm showing today is called a rigger. And it's long and thin, and it was originally designed to paint rigging on sailboats. I like to use it to make long lines, and I like to use it to sign my name. Funny enough, I think signing your name is the hardest part of painting. In a few minutes we'll get to how to use a rigger and the other brushes that I've shown today. This one looks a little frayed, but it actually works very well in that condition. Here's a smaller version, different brand, probably an inexpensive one. They just need to make good long lines. Okay, now we're getting into the part of the video where you learn how to use these brushes. I am using acrylic today for this video, but a lot of this applies to oil as well. Oil happens to be my personal favorite. So this is the filbert, and I'm showing how you can make long, thin lines, what you might call active lines, with this brush. And I can create strokes that go thin and thick. I can create a box by making square, straight lines with it, and I can fill with it. It makes it one of the more versatile brushes that are out there. You can do thin lines, fat lines, and fill in because of the shape of the brush. Here I'm just playing with it a little bit and cleaning up my edge a little bit. There we go. Like I said, this is just acrylic. These are just typical strokes you can make with the brush, and you can see the rounded front of the stroke at the top. Here I'm just playing some more, but the one at the top shows you the kind of stroke that you can make that is a fat and flat a la prima type stroke. I just cleaned my brush off with water. If it was oil, I'd be using a turpenoid. And I'm going to use that to clean edges and draw a little bit. I like to draw with the water. That's really what it is. It's like erasing or drawing with water. And you can create cleaner edges. You can adjust your drawing. With acrylic, you have to move more quickly. It dries very fast. With oil, of course, you have a lot more time. But here I'm going into that box that I made earlier and showing how I can change the shape of it and create a shape inside of it and change it. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to do is with the filbert is to actually pull paint back off of my canvas. So that is basically right there what you can do with the number 6 filbert. We're doing 3 filberts, and number 6, that's a number 4. And we're doing 3 filberts, a 4, a 2, and a 0. There it is, that's the 4. Here is a 2. That is a 2, and it might even be a long filbert. Some filberts you can get are longer, and they're actually called long. Also really wonderful brushes to work with. Here I'm making the same kind of marks, same kind of lines, same burnt umber color, filling out or creating a shape. Because it's smaller, it doesn't do it as efficiently as a large one. Efficiently fill a large shape, I should say. I made a smaller shape, and it's going to work just the same as the last one. Scrubbing it in, that's called scrubbing, but I don't actually scrub hard with these brushes. I save my old brushes for things that need to be scrubbed, really scrubbed. Okay, there's some smaller marks without filbert edge, which is kind of rounded. People like to use it in figurative painting because the figure has rounded edges rather than straight edges. Okay, here I put water in it. I'm doing a similar demonstration to the one above. I'm actually moving the paint around with it instead of erasing it out, which is another thing you can do. And I'm probably going to clear it out now just to see that I can. So I've made a little bit of a blend or a change in value by doing that. Okay. Here I'm going to clean up that edge completely. There we go. Okay. Just with water, or like I said, if you're doing oil, with solvent. And my preferred solvent is terpenoid. It has lower volatile organic compounds. Those are things that I will be touching on in later videos. Okay. Number 2 filbert. That is what we just worked with. The final one is oh, gotta show that one, I'm sorry. See how beautiful that tip is? I think that's another rosemary Shiraz. Okay, so the third one is a very thin little filbert. I believe it is a 0. And there it is. And that's not a long, that's just a regular filbert. I don't think I realized when I started doing this video that I'd used a long filbert previously for the number 2. Doesn't matter. Look what a fine line I can get with this. And thick, I can make my line move back and forth, so it's very, very helpful and very interesting to work with the filbert. As I said, it is my favorite. Okay, filling in with the little brush. I don't do it for large areas. It might be for a very small detail area because it can create fine shapes. Ooh, look at that. That was for fun. You can do all sorts of things with these brushes. And cleaning up the edge again. There we go. It's like doodling right now. One of my favorite things to do is doodling. Okay. Using my finger, bad idea. Look at that nice rough edge on there. I lost the little line, but that's okay. I could clean it off if I want to. Okay, here's the number 0 filbert. I'm writing it with the filbert. And you can see how light it's getting. I'm going back and going for a little water here and there. But it's very light because it's small. It's not holding a lot of fluid. When we get to the rigger, it's a different situation. Okay, the next brush we're going to be trying is the rigger, which is a round, but it's a very long, thin round, which is why it's called a rigger. The one that I'm going to demonstrate with is the rosemary, and I think it is their ivory brush, number 0. Forgive me, my head is going to be in the way here and there. I'm still learning how to do these videos, and it was either cut the head out and not let you see what I'm doing, or let you see that what I'm doing is putting a lot of extra paint and medium and water in that rigger. That's because if it's full of paint, it will make really long lines. As you can see what I'm doing right there. I made a really long line. It petered out near the end, but it's wonderful. I'm going to sign my name now just so you can see how easy it is with this. And I do say that with tongue-in-cheek because I think signing is difficult. But here I go. And that we are. I learned how to use the rigger to do this. Okay, now we're going to move on to the bright type brush, or short flat if you prefer. This is a rosemary Shiraz. I'm going to start by making a box shape similar to what I did before, but I am using the whole shape of the brush to create the square. Rather than making lines first and filling it in, I'm able to make the rectangle with a few short strokes, and I'm cleaning it up. There we go. I can also make straight lines. They can be what you call faceted lines. See, I'm working with angles rather than making long, swirly type lines, although there I just swirled it. So you can do a lot with a flat, and even in drawing you can work with certain shapes, certain edges. Here I'm filling some more. Once again, having fun, doodling, blending out with the brush. Using more water to clean up edges, like the straight at the bottom edge of that rectangle. Just clean it off. I got in there just in time. The acrylic's starting to dry. There's always a way around that problem, which I'll talk about later in another video. And still cleaning up the edge. Okay, there's a small filbert again. Guess I want to use it to clean it even better. A little bit of a close-up. Got a nice straight edge I got on that. Wiping up of the water. And that was a number 6 short flat or bright. We're going to next go to a little demo on applying paint with the filbert and then blending it with the bright. That is a technique I use in doing the old masters, the glazing style of painting. So I'm putting the paint on with the filbert. Didn't fill it in that much. I don't need that much paint on it at first. Here is a synthetic short flat brush. I'll do some more. Drawing a globe out of my head. I don't have anything I'm looking at right now. I'm going to put in the form shadow and the cast shadow. Blend it a little bit first so it doesn't dry on me. If it was oil, I wouldn't worry so much. Oh, and actually I had enough paint on it to fill in the cast shadow. Nice rough sketch. I'll go in and adjust it, refine it, blend, A little erasing and cleaning up. Get the edge soft on that turning form shadow there. The orb looks a little scrunched. That's what I get when I make them up out of my head. Okay, blending with the short flat or the bright. I have to keep that very dry. You can see me wiping it off on a dry cloth right now. And that's so I don't have so much paint on it that it pulls it instead of blending it. Pulling creates horizontal marks along your nicely blended surface, which I find undesirable, depending on the kind of strokes you end up wanting in your painting. That's up to you. Putting some dark background. The dark background is dramatic there, and it also, if you noticed, it helped bring the light forward. The light on the orb gives it more the illusion of being three-dimensional and makes the whole thing more dramatic. Now I've got a little cleanup to do with this one. I didn't finish it during the demo, but certainly I got some of it cleaned up with wet. It's a wet brush. There's the filbert again. There's definitely some cleanup that didn't happen on the light edge of the orb. I noticed it afterwards, when it was too late to refilm it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little demo I gave today on how to use these different brushes. Please, if you enjoy it, like and subscribe. Thank you.